Screws versus inmates, green versus blue. I had the screw tell me, we'll send you to Goulburn, and that's where you're gonna get stabbed. They're looking to knock you there. Fucking send me. Fuck you, They've been raised around all of that, so what do you learn? Snitching, gangs and drugs are prevalent. Learning how to do an armed robbery. And that's the attitude of an inmate. In 3, 2, 1, YouTubers. Screws versus inmates. A lot of mentality about that, you know. This is something I want to address because there's a lot of different screws, just like there's a lot of different inmates, you know. And it's like, you know, people going with the mentality green versus blue. And everybody that does their first few months is guilty of that. And you can tell when someone's just come in because the screw will tell them no, we'll come back in 5 minutes, and they'll be at the office going, fuck you, and throwing shit at the office or some shit, you know. And you can tell that they're either doing a couple of months, they've got a C class rate, or you know, people that have done years to fucking ignore them or whatever, you know. Just speak to another screw that'll give it to you. They can make your life hell. In saying that, there are good screws, there are bad screws. Just like there's good cops, there's bad cops. Sometimes you'll get in a place where it's mostly bad or it's mostly good. I've found that the country jails, more officers are good than not, because this is like just their local town and this is the only jobs available, so they don't want to be there. In the city, officers choose to be there, so that's a lot different, you know. But there's also a lot of fans, you know, screws that are like, you know, they're intrigued by crime and stuff, and it's too hard to be a cop, but it's easy to be a screw, so they'll be a screw and then they'll come in and they'll just be like, you know, they're sort of like a little bit fans, you know, sort of like fanboys or fangirls. Which is also cool, you know, but they're the types that they want the best for you as well. You know, they like to see people succeed, turn it around, but they're also intrigued by your story and how you got there. But they're more typical to understand that, you know, they do see it, that 99% of people in there are from a low socio-economic area, raised in these places where gangs and drugs are prevalent. Sorry for all the big words. But anyway, yeah. So I found, you know, later on in my prison that, yeah, you would have good officers, you would have bad officers, and at the end of the day, you do need stuff from them. So it's better to get along with them, or, you know, obviously you're not going to give them fucking information, but just be fucking polite to make your stay easier. And it also keeps the heat off you. If you're in there and doing shit, you don't want the screws all over you. If you've got shit in your room, you don't want the screws all over you. Like, no one that's selling Buffy or that has a blower, like a phone in there, is going off with the screws, because they don't want their cell rounds. So, you know, it's usually the ones that don't have anything going on, or don't have anything to lose, that start going off with them. You know, some boys do snap though. I've snapped sometimes when they really keep going and going and going. But yeah, the reason I'm saying this is because if you haven't been in, or you're going in and you've already been charged, and that, you know, I never promote jail or anything, but, you know, obviously don't befriend them, but just be polite. If they be rude to you, just be polite to them. Because the same thing that's happening with the inmates, like, there's bad inmates, and, you know, inmates fucking hate each other and all this shit. The same thing happens with the screws. The screws that try to help and try to make life easier for the inmates, there's screws in there that hate them and they don't get along, and fucking they don't want to work together, and they talk behind each other's backs. Same fucking shit. It's the same fucking mentality. The screws are a gang, just like the inmates have gangs, you know. The screws are a gang too, and so just understand that. So there are people, but that will slip notes in jail, letter droppers and that. They're just putrid. You know what I mean? You played the game. If you're in green, then you played the game and you got caught, and you gotta keep playing the game. You can't just fucking leave the game when you want. You can't just fucking, you know, when it gets hard, because you chose it. So if you want to be a dealer and you want to make all this money, then you don't want to pay someone to protect you, and someone comes and runs in on you, then, you know what I mean? You can't whinge about it. You can't whinge about it, calling them a standover and a bully and that, because that's how they make their money, which is how I used to get my money, how I used to get my stuff. Just take it off other people. Because it was hard for me to sell. People were scared of me, so no one's going to buy off me. So I have to go take it off other people. So if you want to play, let's play. Anyway, obviously I don't play anymore. But yeah, so officers, we'll say there are good ones, and there are ones that have helped me in the past, and ones that I've needed stuff, you know, especially when I was learning art. I needed art books and stuff printed off and shit like that. And without the officers, I wouldn't have got any of that. You know, and I'm not here promoting officers, but I'm also not in that mentality where it's my first time in jail, or I've got nothing to lose, or, you know, I don't sell Buffy inside and shit, so I don't care if they raid me. Like, fuck, I used to always care if they raid me. I don't want them looking at me at all. Like, you know, I'm not here to put my hand up in front of them. But there's also the point of view where some boys are like, oh, I just treat them all the same, fuck them, all this shit. For that perspective, you've got to expect them to treat you all the same, which means you should get treated the same as a rapist, you should get treated the same as a dog, or you should get treated the same as an informant. So people that are informing to them, they're going to get treated beautifully, wonderfully. They get treated wonderfully. Do you want to get treated like that off them? No, I'd rather just get treated like a human, because until someone speaks up and bridges the gap between screws and inmates and starts to put some talk around this, then inmates aren't going to get the help they need, because the ones in there that have got at their fingertips that can help you are the screws. You know what I mean? And then the inmates that are looking, you know. Now I think if people aren't telling and people aren't, you know, snitching or fucking, you know, asking stupid shit like move me pods and putting their names on people, which is the same as snitching, then fuck them. You know what I mean? If you're getting help off them and they can help you to get out a better person, then they should, you know. In the European countries, there's a big thing where, you know, people get out because they get treated like humans. And you want to get treated like a human, because the end goal is to get out a better person than you went in. And getting out a better person for your family and for your loved ones, or for your future family and for your future loved ones, is much better and a much bigger accomplishment than learning how to do an armed robbery better or something like that and coming back to jail. And, you know, but yeah. So yeah, someone needs to bridge the gap. The gap needs to be bridged. The assessments, the mental health assessments, I think need to be changed. So when they did that test, I forget the name of the test, but I'm sure someone can put it in the comments, where they got a bunch of straight people, made some officers and some inmates. They said after 3 days they had to shut it down, because the ones that became screws got all this power to their heads and started doing mean shit to the inmates and that, you know, and they couldn't cope. So I think when you're getting a raise or whatever, you get another stripe or another star in there, and, you know, you're getting the promotion, and even 6 months or every 12 months, you should get a mental health assessment as an officer, you know, and see your perspective on things. And you should really have someone in there that's watching the actions of officers. And the ombudsman is not good enough. The fucking ombudsman is pathetic. The ombudsman sits in the governor's office and has coffees. He'll come around to the pod, or the official visitor who's meant to be, you know, neutral party. You'll talk to him about stuff. Oh, I'll see what I can do. So all they do is write shit down on a piece of paper, go past it to the governor, have a coffee, have a laugh, and walk out the gate. Their job's done. They're on their team, which is wrong. Do you know what I mean? There's no prisoners union, which, you know, I know it's not a job, but they're humans, human rights, you know. And I don't mind if the dogs and the pests get left out of that. Like, you know what I mean? I don't think they should be included with criminals, but criminals need rehabilitation. They've had bad things happen to them. 99% of these inmates have had bad things happen to them, or they've been raised in a violent household, or a household full of addiction, and they've been raised around all of that. So what do you learn? That's what you learn. That's why people on the North Shore go to university, because their parents work and they do good things and they're doctors and all this, you know. It's not a fucking choice. And I know some people make it out of Western Sydney, but if you look at the statistics and the odds aren't in your favour. And some people aren't strong enough to block everyone else out, you know. They're, especially when they don't have love at home and support at home, so they're looking for it elsewhere. And where are they going to find it? In gangs, in, you know, getting attention for getting in trouble and all that shit, the same way other people are. The people that get the most attention in them areas are the ones doing wrong. So yeah, that's my little spill on that. And I think, yeah, let's find someone or something, somehow, to bridge the gap where reformed inmates and reformed addicts should be part of a conversation, and on the way jails are run, and the way to help people, and stop building jails and start building rehabilitation centres. What the fuck you need to keep building jails for? Yeah, like I had the screw tell me, oh, we'll send you to Goulburn, and that's where you're going to get stabbed. They're looking to knock you there. Fucking send me. And that's the attitude of an inmate, and that's the attitude of someone who needs their mental health assessed, where they're setting up inmates who they're there to look after, you know? Not saying they need to make my dinner and shit, but you're meant to, you should be there to make sure we get out a better person than we went in. Do you know what I mean? You're there serving society. You're getting paid from a taxpayer for inmates, so that inmates don't get out and be worse to the public and do more damage to the public. And probably your friends, you know, like your friends, you're setting this inmate up and gets violent, gets more violent, holds on to all this aggression, gets out, you know, and that's it, unleashes it on someone else that you probably know. So yeah, setting them up and threatening them and telling them you can do whatever you want, you know. There's plenty of officers like that. I'll fucking set you up, I'll do what I want. And they do, they make up allegations and this and that, and it's fucking bullshit. We're all humans in there. Some of us live there, some of us are getting paid in there. You know what I mean? The end goal is to get out a better person than you went in, and make Australia a better place than fucking getting people out and escalating their crimes that they went in for in the first place. That's my spill on that. Drop some comments in the comment section, I guess, your opinions. And yeah, I'll see you soon. I'm gonna add another video to the week. So we're gonna have like my story or my spill. We're also gonna have the podcast, and I'm gonna, you know, stuff that's going on in society. We'll also get an opinion from, I guess, from the mentality of people that come from underprivileged places. And, you know, because I still hold some of that mentality. But let's have a voice too. You can go now.